What's up guys and welcome to my first ever video here on this channel. My name is Henning, I'm 24 years old and I'm from Germany. I do study in the US at the moment and play college soccer as well, but off the pitch I play lots of poker, cash games mainly, and some tournaments here and there as well, so this is what you will mainly see on this channel, right? I'm currently back in Germany, but I will go back to Fort Wayne, Indiana in like 2 to 3 weeks because my preseason for soccer starts. Yeah, this is when I also will play lots of poker again. Please also make sure that you follow my Instagram. I want to post regularly there and you will see lots of updates when I play a session or a tournament. I still have some videos from my local sessions in Fort Wayne at the casino in the past, which I would like to show you guys here on this channel first, and then you will see continuous vlogs again. But I don't even want to talk too much right now and I would really like to start right into the action. Alright guys, we immediately jump into the first hand here at my local casino in Fort Wayne where we play 1-2 low stakes. In the first hand we peel 4-5 suited from MP and we decide to make it 15 bucks to a under the gun limp. The button calls big blind and under the gun defender and we go 4 ways to a flop of 5, 6, 7, 1 spade and 2 hearts. We flop the absolute world with a straight flush in our first hand and the big blind immediately leads 65 bucks with about 200 behind. Under the gun surprisingly calls as well and we have a huge draw and I immediately want to play for stacks right here. I tank for a little bit, but I think we all know what's going to happen. I want to max pressure here and just jam my fresh $500 stack into the middle and that's what I'm gonna do. The big blind tanks for a little bit and then decides to fold after he put like almost 25% of his chips into the middle, and under the gun also surprisingly folds and shows king queen of hearts faced up with a better flush draw and 2 overs. Overall it's a great result and I would say that aggression worked out perfectly here again. In the next hand we peel ace queen of spades in the big blind. Under the gun makes it 10 bucks to go with around 100 behind, then MP decides to call with only 65 behind and the button calls as well. This is obviously weakness to my ears again and only under the gun can really have a strong hand here. With all those shorties in mind, I decide to make it 100 and play for stacks here again. Under the gun decides to fold, but MP doesn't fold that quick. He actually gives it some thought and after some time he does stick it in and the button snap folds. I immediately show my hand since I know I'm good pre-flop and we go to a runout. The dealer puts down the flop of 9 jack 10, 9 of hearts on the turn and a 10 again on the river. The opponent unfortunately shows jack 8 of hearts and we lose the small pot. The next hand we open beautiful king jack of clubs for 20 to a $5 button straddle. The MP decides to call and so does the straddle and we go to a flop of ace queen 10 and the dealer is definitely putting some heat out today. We flop the absolute nuts again with the royal flush draw as well. I decided to check out of position because I also don't block any pairs. MP immediately takes the bait and bets very small for only 15 bucks and the button calls as well in position. And I already have a decision here if I want a smooth call or raise and get value from 2 pairs, other flush draws, but there's also another small thing to consider. Here in this casino here in Fort Wayne, there's a daily high hand which pays around 1.5k every day. And there's a small chance I could hit a royal flush and win this high hand for sure. That's why I just decided to call and definitely see a turn. Because in my eyes it would be a disaster to raise and both opponents fold and I don't get the chance to hit the high hand. So I decide to make the call and we go to a turn which is the jack of diamonds, and this is obviously one of the worst turns in the deck because it potentially kills all the action for the top pair and 2 pair holdings both opponents can have. In game I decided to lead 50 bucks because I think this is a card that will be checked around a lot and the MP decides to call and the button folds. So we go heads up to a river which is the jack of hearts, and the round here really is not optimal at all because he can make some full houses although it's unlikely, so we decide to check the river and he snap checks it back with what he later told me 10 out of clubs for a gutter and a flush draw on the flop unfortunately, but we still win a medium sized pot. In the next hand we peel ace queen from middle position and decide to make it 15 bucks to go over under the gun plus 1 limp. Then the button decides to call and so does the under the gun player and we go 3 ways to a flop of queen 9-6 2 spades. It gets checked to me and this is a very wet board with lots of draws, so I decide to bet 30 bucks, but I probably could have even bet bigger up to, I would say pot to even charge the draws big time. The button folds and under the gun quickly calls. The turn is the 8 of hearts and under the gun just lead jams for 74 bucks, and I think my hand is just too strong to fold, and we decide to call and immediately get the bad news when the under the gun player shows Jack 10 for the nuts, and we obviously lose this hand. The next time we try to bounce back with Ace 5 suited out of the big blind. We make it $15 over a $5 button straddle and the cutoff button call, and we go to a flop of 5, 7, 9, 2 clubs and 1 diamond. With bottom pair here against 2 opponents, I decide to check out of position and the cutoff bets $30 and the button folds. I make the call and evaluate on the turn, which is the 7 of diamonds. We have a double flush draw board now and I check again and he bets 50 bucks. In live poker you should also always play your opponent. This one took me a while. This is probably one of the better turn cards for my specific hand because he still bets all of his flush and straight draws, which I all unblock, but wouldn't he bet a bigger size with those kind of draws? The opponent we are facing here is an older guy who I haven't seen getting out of line that much, so in the end I decide to make a tight fold. Guys, let me know in the comments because for me this is a very close spot, but I think to fold is probably the lower variance option, especially in a 1-2 game where older people don't love that much. I did switch to the main table now and added on for a couple $100. So we're playing over $1,000 deep now since everyone is, pretty deep. The first significant hand we play is nothing else than pocket kings from under the gun and we open to $20 over a $6 button straddle. Trust me guys, this table is what poker dreams are made of. The action is insane as under the gun +1 and under the gun +2 call, and so does MP, and then the low jack makes it $90 and it gets back to me. The low jack has been 3-betting a few times since I sat down with mediocre hands, and with all that dead money in the pot I tank a bit and obviously 4-bet to $300. As soon as I put out the chips, the low jack folds very aggressive out of turn and size, but then it is back to the under the gun +1 and he tanked already when he just called $20 in first instance, and now he tanks again, but then he decides to finally fold, and so does under the gun +2, and obviously my buddy Damien in MP had to fake tank a little bit, shout out to him, but we all know he can never have a strong hand here, so yeah, he folds as well and we take down over $150 pre-flop uncontested.
I know I'm folding.
Alright guys, I just made it back, about to head off in my car. It was overall a pretty smooth session at the first table, and then I switched to the main table and was pretty card dead, opened a lot of hands but couldn't catch anything besides those 2 hands. I did 3-bet ace, queen and kings, they both folded, so I ended up booking a very small win, about $181 I think. So I take the win, I take every win, of course. I think there's not much more to say, and yeah, we move on from here. And yeah, if you enjoyed watching the video, leave a like and follow my channel to always stay updated. See you guys in the next one.